Welcome to this episode of the Weekly Poll, and of course, as you guys know, we usually provide advertising at the front of our episodes, and so this episode of the Weekly Poll is brought to you by Infinity Gems by Nemesis. So they actually provided us a little bit of reading material. So, are you looking to show that special someone in your life how much they matter? Whether they love controlling the minds of all beings in existence or wiping out half of the universe's population, give them the gift that keeps on giving with Infinity Gems by Nemesis. Purchase the 6-box set and receive a commemorative glove. However, Infinity Gems by Nemesis is not responsible for beings who succumb to madness and attempt to usurp the positions of any or all cosmic entities. So, what are our topics for today, Joel?
Well, we got a lot to talk about today, actually. I guess the first and most pressing thing that we got coming down the pipeline, we got some details for the next big Spider-Man event, Dead No More. There was a lot of question about what the hell is going on here, who's coming back from the dead, and the answer is everybody's coming back from the dead. Everyone who's ever died in Spider-Man, from Gwen Stacy to Uncle Ben to Jean DeWolf even, they're all coming back. Madam Web is in there somewhere.
That's amazing. Literally everybody. Captain Stacy, I guess Marla Jameson would be there.
Sure, why not?
Wow.
It's nuts.
I'm actually kind of curious to see how that's going to work out. Because,
everyone who's ever died.
well, I felt like it was only a matter of time before Marvel was like, you know what, we're just going to bring everybody back. Like, I felt like it was only a matter of time before that happened. But, you know, I am kind of hyped to see, like, where it all goes. Because, like, here's the issue. Like, at the end of the day, like, it's cool as, like, you know, Gwen Stacy, Spider-Girl, whatever it is. It's cool as she is. She's not Gwen Stacy.
The real Gwen.
The
real
Stacy.
Gwen's dead.
Also, too, let's not forget that in the little solicitation we had about this, all these people are coming back from the dead as a result of the man in the red suit who we've seen recruiting Spider-Man villains and tempting them by saying, hey, Doc Connors, I brought your family back to life. Hey, Rhino, I brought your daughter back to life. So there's a 90% chance that this is the devil that's doing all of this, that these people are being resurrected by the devil to fuck with Spider-Man.
Wouldn't it be crazy if it was Mephisto?
Again, 90% sure, barring some sort of swerve, it's probably Mephisto.
I mean, because, like, that would be an unbelievably ballsy move for Dan Slott to be like, and also we shouldn't forget to mention that while it's not official and there's no real formal word on the subject, a lot of people are speculating that this might be the swan song for Dan Slott's run on Spider-Man.
Sure seems that way from the way you read it.
And what a mic drop it would be to be like to take a character who's pretty much defined by death. Every character that has entered Spider-Man's life has affected him in a major way, and especially through death itself. And there's nobody. I think there are fewer characters in the Marvel Universe that have a higher body count than Spider-Man's supporting cast.
It's true.
And for him to be like, no, we're gonna bring everyone back. We're going to give him his high rise and his business and his money, and he literally has nothing to complain about at all ever again. Also, the devil who made the deal that made everyone kind of hate Spider-Man, or not everyone, but like a significant portion of readers hate the status quo for Spider-Man, and be like, yeah, and he's going to get involved too. I'm going to do a big thing with him. That's messed up and crazy. Like,
wouldn't it be something? Because obviously, like, Peter doesn't remember the deal that happened with the devil, but Mephisto remembers the deal that happened with the devil. Wouldn't it be something for Mephisto to hold that over Peter's head in the event and be like, haha, I know something you don't. You did a shitty thing.
You think that it was the Illuminati that fixed it, but actually it was me. That'd be amazing.
Well,
and imagine Peter having to deal with that and the guilt on top of that of like, no.
Well, here's a question too: is like, imagine what they could do with that. Because imagine they did that. Imagine they took that road and they came back and they were and literally it was the first time since the history of One More Day that Marvel came back and acknowledged One More Day. And Mephisto shows up and it was like, hey, like, Peter, I don't know if you remember or not, but like, I literally forced you, and like basically force all those memories to come back. Well, then what happens now? Because Mary Jane Watson is bumping uglies with Tony Stark.
No, she isn't. Not yet. She's not.
Not yet.
No. Okay, let me. She will. Like, she's.
She will.
You do not.
No woman can hang around Tony for too long.
Dude, you literally do not introduce an AI called Friday. That is Mary Jane Watson. And then say Mary Jane Watson will be in the story at some point, and not have Mary Jane Watson and Tony Stark bumping uglies.
Are you trying to imply that Tony wants to bang his Irish AI?
No, well, I don't know how Tony Stark's mind works. I'm just saying that we've all read Brian Michael Bendis stories and we know where this is going. So
It's true. We have.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
but no,
That gets even
like,
weirder because it's like Tony's hired Mary Jane to more or less mommy him and be like, look, make sure I don't say dumb things.
Right, but also a sex tape.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, that was the whole point of that one chick that he was. What was her name? The one that created the cure for mutants. The one that she
Yeah,
was, that he was talking to for a while. Like, hey, like, yes, you're really cool and you're really smart, and I'd love to get you between the sheets, but I also need someone who's literally going to be my filter.
Right.
It's like, okay, Tony.
I don't know if you've met me before, but I say and do horrible things, and oftentimes I try and drink. So just hit my hand, hit me with the cat spray bottle.
Just in case I try to like lead Captain America to death, or fund a nebulous piece of legislation. I'll
or if I try and create an addictive app that raises a new crime rate and everything, and
was-
everyone gets mad at me.
That was such a cool idea that I don't think got enough time to have legs.
Oh,
No,
dude, it was so disappointing they cut Superior Iron Man so short. And what's more disappointing than that to me is I love Bendis' stories. Bendis is really good at writing. I don't like that he just like treated it like it didn't exist. Like there was no
Yeah.
Superior Iron Man. I mean,
Sorry,
like,
Tom Taylor.
yeah, like
Yeah, it's just he fixed it.
well,
end.
I guess, man. Like it was such a cool thing because I loved seeing like that version of Tony Stark that just didn't care. Like
Yeah.
it was Marvel Cinematic Universe Tony Stark, and I loved seeing that version of Tony Stark. It was awesome.
How many fucks did he give? This many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at my field of fucks. See that it is barren.
Low is barren.
Tony Stark had to invent a device to be able to properly calculate the amount of fucks he didn't give.
But yeah, but anyway, so back onto Spider-Man and Dead No More.
Doc Ock
That's-
is back too. That was the other thing.
Yeah.
The big artwork we saw is he's fighting Doc Ock back in his old body, and he's a pudgy little dude again with tentacles.
I mean, that was, in all honesty, that was only a matter of time. I mean,
Yep.
and that's kind of the funny thing about this is the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Or they
And,
say this.
when they as soon as I saw that Dan Slott was just continuing the run of Superior Spider-Man and everything post Spider-Verse going into Secret Wars and after, I was like, okay, it's all going to be pretty much the exact same circumstance that we've seen before. And when he was like, Dr. Octopus is still in the robot body and he's still in love with that one chick, and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
It was like, okay, like things are changing. Like he's going to come back, and which I guess there's something to be said about that because I think with Dr. Octopus, he's such a classic villain for Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
That he needs
Yeah.
to be there. Like you can't have Spider-Man and not
And
have.
he sat on the shelf for so long. It's kind of like when they put Joker on the shelf at the beginning of the New 52. You could tell a great Doc Ock back in the saddle story.
Well,
Yes.
that's
Not only.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, not only that, but the two big. When everyone always immediately thinks Green Goblin is the number one villain, or Venom, but like because Venom's like in space and doing other things, and hasn't been really a Spider-Man villain for a long time,
Wild.
people go like, okay, Green Goblin, and then they like de-crazied him and then changed his face and put him like
Now
they've-
he's Hush.
They've done so many stupid, terrible things with Norman Osborn, and also they oversaturated the market with him thanks to like Siege and Dark Reign and everything.
Yeah.
That they just went down the list like, okay, who's next? And they went, we haven't really done a big Dr. Octopus story in like 20 years. Let's do that. And it worked out so well. I'm kind of a little worried about overdoing Doc Ock at this point because for me, he's kind of usurped Green Goblin as one of his greatest nemesis.
In the last couple of years, yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any silly face change stuff going on with him.
No.
But no, like, see that's one thing I was thinking about is there's like a handful of, like, there are some villains for characters that help to like define those characters, and at the very least, it's simply just the idea of their mainstay villains, and you can't get rid of them. Like you
Right.
can't kill off those villains. Like you can't take Norman Osborn, Dr. Octopus, Carnage. I would say at this point, Venom. These are examples of like classic villains for Spider-Man, and so I probably wouldn't say that I'm disappointed by what they're doing so much as it is I'm curious to see what Dan Slott will do. This will be the real kicker too. Is Dan Slott just going to do what he's always done? That is to say, are we just going to see the same run of Spider-Man stories we've always seen? Because I will say this, and I know Sal's not a huge fan of this, but I like Peter Parker as like the corporate guy. As
Me
like
too.
running a
Yeah.
company, that kind of thing. Like I love that theme because it's not the Peter
It's a
Parker
nice
that we're used to.
evolution.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not the I'm Peter Parker, I'm struggling for rent money and I'm taking pictures of myself and selling them to the
That's the
Daily
thing.
Bugle. You know,
And
like
it gives Miles a thing to do too. It's like, look, you be New York Spider-Man. You have young guy Spider-Man problems. I will have adult Spider-Man problems, and we'll
It's
fine
and we'll
with
get
me.
along just fine.
I think the concept is better than the execution. I
Oh,
feel
okay.
like, because like, am I sick of? Would I really, really hate if they were like, okay, don't worry, we're after Dead No More, he will owe trillions of dollars and his business will be destroyed, and the only recourse he'll have is to work for Robbie Robertson at the Daily Bugle, and he'll just take desperate photos of himself, and he
I thought you
won't
were
be
gonna
able to
say
have money.
prostitute himself on the street corner. I thought that's where
I mean, he basically is prostituting himself by photographing himself doing various spider poses and fighting bad guys, orchestrating physical violent acts so that he can pay the rent. That's more or less a form of prostitution. But the fact is, like, I would be so disappointed if that was the case. Like, I'd be just like, what do you do? Like, we've seen it 1,000 times. And it's, like, I feel like in this case, there's nothing really new under the sun, unless you're just doing, like, well, no, what's it like to be poor in 2016? Like, no. We've seen him poor for 30 years. We've
You
seen
know
him doing pretty well for 15 years. Like, let's try something else.
And you know they're gonna do it too, just to have it line up with the new movie when that eventually happens. They're like, no, we need standard Spider-Man status quo to be back, because God help someone if they pick up a new comic after seeing the movie and it doesn't line up 100%.
God, you know,
Well,
that,
wait
that
a minute.
asks a really good that presents a really good question. That presents a really good question.
Mhm.
Like, how do you square that circle? Like, Steve Rogers is going to be Captain America again, you know, because
He is. He's
yeah,
young now.
He's already
yeah,
back.
Yeah, he's like he's going through his whole thing. Like you have, I mean,
and yet, even though he's getting a new book, they're not getting rid of Sam's book, which I appreciate. You can have the choice. You can have both.
yeah.
Yeah.
But like like the comics are aligning themselves with the movies. They always do because I mean, you know, Joel's right. People don't want to be confused when they go to the store and just
Yeah.
be like, well, I don't understand what's going on here. But
Well, they think people don't want to be confused is the thing, but I would argue if you cared enough, you would actually do the research or watch channels like ours and figure out why that's the case.
well, I
There's
would
never
say,
been a better time to be more caught up.
oh,
It's
yeah.
true.
Like I mean, but I would say in this instance though, like they're not really. I don't think they're referencing the people who are like, okay, I want to read Spider-Man, and they jump onto Reddit and they ask a question, and people say, go read this, 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 and this, and then they go to the store and buy it. Like I think they're
Yeah.
talking about like the dads who just wander into a comic book store because their
Yeah.
sons want to go, and
That's
they're just
exactly
looking around and they haven't read comics for 30 years, and they're just like, okay, you know, and then just kind of go from there. But like those are the people that I think that Marvel's looking at when they have like, okay, Steve Rogers was old, but now we got to make him young so that he can be Captain America again, so people understand, you know, in the movies and all that kind of good stuff. But with
Yeah.
Spider-Man, it presents a really good question because, you know, if Spider-Man being so young in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, we could probably argue within reason that in the Marvel MCU, Spider-Man or Peter Parker would have become Spider-Man within like the last year or so.
Yeah.
You know, like given his use of his powers, given his webbing, given the fact that he, you know, knows how to handle himself in terms of how he moves, we can argue within reason that he's got a year's worth of experience under his belt. He probably has more, but the
Right.
fact remains that he knows what he's doing. And so, the question is this: like, you know, where do we stand with like Mary Jane Watson? Is it Gwen Stacy or is it Mary Jane Watson? Because Marvel,
Well-
one of the things I love is they've been so like chronological in terms of their characters and how they've evolved over the years. They've skipped over stuff, but at the end of the day, it all still follows a chronology. And so
Yeah.
I would like to, and in truth, I'd love to see Gwen Stacy in here. And if they do, then that would make perfect sense as to why Gwen Stacy's coming back in the comics.
Well, then you get the ultimate wrench thrown into it, and that is the Spidey book, which is basically untold tales of a high school era Spider-Man told as if they were taking place in 2016. It's almost like an in-continuity retelling of Ultimate, where it's like, hey, yeah, and here's Gwen, and here's Harry, and here's all the characters, and here's his
Right.
first fight with Sandman, and his first fight with all these other characters.
Except
Yeah.
that book is wrong. Like it's not right though. Like it makes glaring continuity mistakes because nobody cares. And so it's kind of like
a young Peter Parker book is the thing, and this is the only way we're going to be able to do it.
The answer is like, no, you don't. There are literally 5 titles you could buy that are in trade format that have young Peter Parker, and also you have
I'm
young
a
Miles
CEO
Morales.
with a boat
Like,
payment, and I say we need Spidey.
it's such a terrible book. Don't buy Spidey.
Here's the thing: I wouldn't say it's bad, but as a guy who's been reading comics most of my life, Spidey is horribly derivative. I'm like, I've seen this done better. I have seen
Literally,
this a million
they've
times.
done Spidey like 5 times in the last 10 years, and it's like,
Yeah.
that's pretty bad. That's like, come on. I mean,
I don't think it's that bad, guys. Like, I mean, Spidey's not targeted towards us. Like,
It's
Spidey's
not.
not
It's
targeted.
like,
no,
that's the thing,
Spidey's not for us. That's obviously
It
true.
absolutely is not for us. That's the thing. Like, the line is totally drawn in the sand. It's like, no. This is for people reading Spider-Man first time, which is fine, and they should have a comic, and I'm glad it exists for them.
Yeah. And I think that they've actually established that Spidey's not. No, the fact is Spidey can or cannot be in continuity. It's wrong if it is in continuity, but there's what will cement it in continuity is when they create a new villain that Spider-Man fights in Spidey that will appear in the new series, which they've done before and they'll do 1,000 times again. It's like, it's fine. It's a totally harmless book. It's just like, whatever. Like, you hit
the nail on the head there. It's harmless. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. For me, it's like redundant, but especially when you have Spider-Man with Miles Morales, where it's like, if you really, really believe in this Miles Morales character,
giving him those stories.
Let him be Spider-Man. Like, you don't need just like if you believe in Sam Wilson Captain America, Steve Rogers shouldn't be Captain America. Like, if you believe that that's strong enough, don't have Captain America Steve Rogers be a book.
I think they do believe it, but they also want to hedge their bets at the same time too. Where
That's
it's like,
that's exactly what it is.
Not believing in it.
That's exactly it's just hedging bets. Like, because at the end of the day, it makes perfect sense. I mean, like we were saying before, people look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and the only Captain America is Steve Rogers. Falcon's a cool sidekick, but Falcon's not Captain America until Steve Rogers dies, and somebody says, "Hey, Falcon, you want to be Captain America?" And he says, "Sure." And then he puts on the suit. No one's going to look at him as Captain America. And so when people sit down, when somebody wanders into a comic book store, and they're like, "Well, I want to start reading comics again," and they see, Captain America, Sam Wilson, and they see Steve Rogers as an old guy, or I guess a young guy now, they're like, okay, what's going on here? Like, this isn't like the movie. That's exactly what they're going to say. This isn't like the movie. And so
it's funny. It looks like they're leading up to a situation where him, Bucky, and Falcon are all going to be like alternating Captain America.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you have Monday through Friday, I'll have Saturday and Sunday, and Bucky can have alternating Tuesdays, and then we can just live normal lives, and everyone can be Captain America.
We're gonna have a Captain America Corps, and it'll be just a team of Americas.
That dude. Okay, like what was it? The Age of Ultron. What if? Where Captain America died, and the Punisher became Captain America, and then like the Captain America Corps was formed after that. That was such a cool concept. Like that was one
you
of
have
like
that book, and you bring in the kid from Young Avengers too, and he can be part of the Captain America Corps.
Oh, the kid, like the Black Widow, Steve Rogers boy.
Yeah.
No, the one from actually like the main universe, the guy who fought with.
The Zola boy. Yeah, he's cool.
Oh no! Yeah, whatever happened to Nomad? Nomad disappeared in a tie-in, didn't he? And he
disappeared in a Secret Wars tie-in. I doubt Dr. Doom brought him back.
No, yeah, it's like Dr. Doom looked at Nomad and was like, "No."
This is complicated. Go away.
No, I wasn't even talking about Nomad. I was talking about like who's the young Avenger kid with Kate Bishop and them who fights with
Luke Bishop? Is that who it is? Is it like the kid, the African American kid?
Yeah, the one from like the New Avengers. Yeah, Patriot. Thank you. Bring Patriot in there. Why don't you? And have him join the Captain America.
Elijah
Corps.
Bradley.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because his they did a whole story with like his great grandfather who was like the Black Captain America, and that Tuskegee Airman story that was really cool. Bring him back too while you're at it.
With Patriot.
Well, here's a question that I've been sitting here kind of wondering, and I've been sitting here thinking about, because this is something people have been asking me constantly, and I know this isn't really on our list of topics, but I want to pick your all's brain about this anyway.
Sure.
Shoot.
Who do you think's gonna die in Civil War?
Probably Rhodey. All signs seem to be pointing to Rhodey. Yeah.
Okay. You're testing the movie, not Civil War 2.
Yeah, the movie, not the comic.
Well, okay. I think Steve Rogers is gonna die.
Has a good chance.
You think who?
I think Steve Rogers is gonna die.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I want it
I
to
think-
be Steve Rogers. I want him to die, but I don't think he will.
Yeah. I know that I'm sure that Rhodey will also die, but I think that Steve will also die. I think Steve will either he'll die or they'll Nick Fury his death, like they did in Winter Soldier.
Right,
you think
where he
so?
fakes
Just
his
kind of
death
like
for the greater good.
Yeah.
He'll die, and then the PS will be like Bucky being like, Steve, you like there needs to be a Captain America, and Steve will be like, there is, but
Hands in the
like,
shield, yeah.
You know what they might do? Because they said that Steve Rogers was supposed to, and this would actually be perfect. They said that Steve Rogers, or that Chris Evans, is like the next movie after this is Infinity War,
Yes.
and I wouldn't be surprised if the end of Civil War saw the arrest of Captain America, and he's just literally sitting in a prison cell.
That'd be
For
cool.
all the movies up into Infinity War. But the question is who
Interesting.
dies. This is why I think they're going to kill Tony Stark.
Really,
Well,
you think?
I've definitely thought that before, or rather, I've suggested that it would be cool if they killed him.
Yeah.
Because number one, no one would be expecting it, but number
It's
two,
true.
it makes sense because this is the the Infinity War movies are the last Robert Downey Jr. Marvel movies. There is no Iron Man 4. Downey Jr. said I don't think we're gonna do an Iron Man 4, which means he's only got 2 movies left, and there
He
needs to
says
be a-
now he doesn't want to do anymore until they drive that dump truck full of Disney money up to his house.
Yeah, I mean the fact is he already gets residuals. There's so much money coming in.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think he's that.
You think he gets a cut of the action figures? Because that's the sweetest plum of all, the action figures.
No, he gets a set. He gets a cut of sales. Or something like
Dude,
that.
I'd hate to imagine how much money those action figures are bringing in, man. Those 10-year-old kids all over the place. Just, Mommy, I want a
don't know.
Tony Stark action figure.
Dude, are action
Dude,
figures
10-year-old
really
kids
that
and
big?
me.
I don't think action figures are that big anymore.
Have you not been in a Toys R Us on Black Friday?
Yeah, the aisles. There used to be 2 aisles dedicated to action figures at Bradley's, and now we go to Target or Walmart. It's 1/2 aisle. It's mostly Pokemon and Transformers and some Marvel stuff.
That's fine. Kids order their action figures online these days. It's fine.
They order off.
Do they
Amazon.
really? I feel like
I don't know. I'm
action
making
figures
shit
are
up.
impulse purchases, just like they were when I was a kid.
Dude, I have no idea.
You want to know who's really buying action figures these days? It's guys like us who could never get a full set of Avengers. Now you buy them all together in a set. It's I've always
dude.
wanted.
No, dude, that's exactly what it is. Like when I was
Yeah.
younger, it was when I was able to get comics when I could, but I could for me it was always like bits and pieces of stuff. So it was never the complete Executioner Song crossover. It was 3 issues of X-Men that were
Yeah,
part
it was
of
parts
that.
1, 4, and 9.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was. And so now it's just I go to a comic convention and I'm just I'm buying all that right now.
Yeah,
That's
that's why I like
Montreal when I went. They had Spider-Man the animated series stuff from the '90s, all the ones I always wanted but never had, and I'm must
Wow.
resist going for Wally. But the Hobgoblin's so cool though.
Oh, dude.
The funny thing is,
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, with apropos action figures, it took us a long time to get any halfway decent ones of certain characters. You can get a million Wolverines, in Weapon X armor or in his Maverick armor, but you couldn't get a single decent Captain America figure to save your life.
Yeah.
So yeah. But anyway,
that was cool. By the way, when we were in WonderCon, dude, Joel, there was this guy me and Sal spotted. He was dressed up as Maverick Wolverine from Task Force X, and I was just wow, what a throwback! It was cool to see the old school.
Very specific. We were wow,
Yeah.
you like Wolverine from a very, very, very narrow time.
Yeah.
We lost Joel.
We lost Joel. Well, there goes Joel.
Well, there goes Joel.
Oh well, sacrifices must be made. But
Exactly.
there he is. He's back. Welcome back,
Yep.
man.
That action figure conversation was too hot. It knocked out my Skype.
Oh, okay. But
all right. What's another topic that we have on the docket for today?
yes.
We have the Doctor Strange pictures that went around. That movie wrapped apparently.
Oh
Yeah,
God.
it looked great.
Man, see, that's why I need to move to a major metropolitan area.
Like Atlanta.
I wouldn't have known what to do. I would have. Well, no, they were in New York, I think, when he filmed that.
They were in
scene.
the city.
Yeah. And I was like, man, I would have just freaked because you never know when that's gonna happen. like Benedict Cucumbers just comes walking in to a comic book store dressed as Doctor Strange. And
Yep.
it's
Benedict
just like,
Cucumber Patch, yes.
yeah, and it's just like, and it's just like, I want to buy this
Eggs
comic.
Benedict hatchback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eggs Benedict hatchback.
We were
Yeah.
talking about that. Like, just Tiffany was actually saying that if she were in that comic book store when Benedict Cumberbatch showed up in his full Doctor Strange costume from shooting the movie, that would have been the like, okay, yeah, I'm in. Like, I'm 100% sold on this movie.
Yes.
Because, like, not only that, you saw the picture where he's holding a copy of The Oath by Brian K. Vaughan, which is like
Yeah,
the
he
best
is.
Doctor Strange, and he's pointing at it. You can see that his hands are all ruined from the accident. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
What a specific, what an attention to detail.
Yeah. Like,
I have a Doctor Strange expert that might want to come in and talk about this for a minute.
You
Oh, here we go.
got a tagger.
oh, Tiffany.
in,
Oh,
got a
that's
tag.
awesome. Okay, Tiffany. So, what do you think about the Miss Marvel jacket? Because I was hanging, or the Captain Marvel jackets. I was hanging out with Sal, and like we were at the hotel. And he was like, "Look what I got, Tiffany," and I was like, "That looks amazing."
I love it. I really do. I think it's awesome. The irony is, in the wake of,
BVS.
yeah, everyone thinks anyone who doesn't know comics thinks it's a Wonder Woman.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
really?
unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
you know what, though? It's still another, like, awesome female character. Fine, whatever. But, like, anyone who's in the know, I'm like, yeah, you know. You know
That's-
how cool this is.
That's going to change when she gets her own movie, though.
I
is the
know,
thing.
right?
Then
Yeah, only
everyone will
4
know.
or 5 more years to
So
go.
what's up? Look,
Yeah.
it's got all the tummy things. It's awesome.
Oh, nice. It's got the thumb things. That's
Yeah,
cool.
it's got the thumb things.
And it actually tapers off. It has like a longer part
Oh
of.
wow, they put a lot of effort and time into that.
I know.
Well, and it's like a real thing. It's not like it's an Etsy jacket. It's
No,
actually made by.
It's really nicely made, and it looks good open. But anyway, I think Doctor Strange's costume looks awesome.
Yay!
I know,
I didn't know you thought that.
I did.
It does, doesn't it? It looks great. He's got a real cape. It really
I
flows.
Things that look awesome. I love the fact that they managed the usual bulk that his like shirt has by making it like cool layers that like evokes
Yeah.
like that monk-like style. I'm like, that's cool. You dealt with it. You dealt with the layers and you've made it work. And I even like the Eye of Agamotto with like all the extra stuff on it. I can't wait to see it light up.
I think it's an Infinity Gem.
That's what I've been
I
thinking.
think it has to be at this point. Like it's got to be like, what are the ones we have left? Time or
Just one
reality
left.
or which
Well, I
one?
don't care for that.
I know. I'd rather it not be a gem, but I think it has to.
They
so
made the
that-
cosmic cube
I want it
a
to be
gem
the eye
for
of
crying
a
out
big
loud.
bald guy in the sky.
I know.
All right, guys,
No,
come
there's
on.
there's two stones left. Like because we have the space stone, the mind stone, the
Yeah,
eye
that's it.
stone, the ear stone, the breath stone. No, but we have like we have all of them except for the time stone and the soul stone. I think.
Yeah.
Are the last
You'll
two that we don't
probably have soul, I imagine.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange will have soul, but he's not a soldier.
Dude, okay, you know what? Joel, I'm so glad you said that because as soon as you said that, I thought of like Doctor Strange with a Jerry curl, and like that needs to
I
happen.
don't want to think about that.
I do. Like Doctor Strange is my soul brother.
You're just stomping on Tiff's religion right now, being like, man, how could they ruin your favorite character in all these ways?
Yeah, no, let's not do that. But no, overall, I like the fact they took down the
Oh, the
collar area. Like,
Mm.
as a drawing, that really works.
But as a real thing, it doesn't.
Not
Yeah,
so
no.
You can't
much.
translate it really well.
It looks
No.
kind of weird.
Spawn proved that.
Yeah,
Makes,
it's
me,
just not,
makes me wonder if Iron Fist will have in his show because he was another guy who had years worth of
Right?
super pop
Like,
collars.
No, it'll be the unitard that he wears. It's white.
Well,
Like-
I'm sure
here's-
they'll do something more.
Here's a funny thing too is like I was at the comic book store earlier today, and I was talking to one of the guys there, and I was like the funny thing about Doctor Strange, what I think a lot of people don't get, is that Doctor Strange is going to be like the Marvel Cinematic Universe's Fantasia. Like imagine just some of the craziest, most out there,
Oh my
most
God.
wildest like dimension
Brooms.
designs, and brooms, yeah, and they will be there. Like, and I was like, I mean, because that's the coolest thing about Doctor Strange is literally they could just make up anything.
Yeah.
And it's
Oh, yeah.
true. They could just be like, anything is true. Like, there's people who are half horse and they're half dog, and it's true because it's Doctor Strange and the dimension exists out there somewhere. Like,
There's just cat dogs running around.
How about
Cat
this?
dogs running
It better be that.
Yeah.
I'm hoping. In truth, I think that this is what I love the most about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like when it comes to creating something that is just like out there. When it comes to Marvel, and Disney sitting down and saying, let's just like imagine something just insanely amazing, they don't disappoint. And
True.
I
Yeah,
think
that's
that with
true.
Doctor Strange, it'll be that way.
They
Like,
are
it'll just be
Imagineers, that's why.
Imagineers, exactly. What an awesome
You
thing.
got to think too, because they got a horror director doing this one. They got Scott Derrickson or whatever. I
Yeah.
imagine this one might be a little bit more freaky, and I like the idea of a freaky Marvel movie.
Yeah.
No, it should be. It absolutely should be. And like the fact that like Doctor Strange, his books went through the 70s and the 60s, and that was a great time
Very
to
psychedelic.
be
Drugs, too,
psychedelic.
going on.
And I hope that they draw from that pool. Like they go back and they look at some of the scenes that were created. Like I know we're not going to be seeing like anything like. I don't think we're going to see anything super off the wall with this.
We're not gonna see like Escher paintings that like Strange is walking
No, I
through.
think we're going to get a
Doctor
little
Strange,
bit of
an
it.
acid trip for the whole family.
Right, but I think that they're going to try to tether it a little bit since, I mean, yes, Guardians did great and no one expected it, but I think with this one, I think they're going to hold back a little bit. I think they're going to have a little bit of self-control with this just to make sure they don't alienate people because it's such a departure.
I think it really depends on who is making the movie because like James Gunn clearly DGF like doesn't give a fuck about other people think, and that's why we got like Nowhere. Like,
And then he hired
literally
his friends
like
to be in the movie too.
got, like, the cantina scene from Star Wars in the severed head of a Celestial, and I don't think anybody was gonna greenlight that unless James Gunn was like, "This has to go or I walk." And you already had Edgar Wright walk, so yeah, you want me to stick around.
I guarantee that was the case.
Doctor
Like when
Strange-
James Gunn did that, like I guarantee where he was like, if you want me in this movie, like here are like the 5 things I need to be able to have in this film.
Now,
Also Cosmo.
It was interesting that you mentioned that the cantina scene because they are harkening back to something that already exists.
Yeah.
So if you think about that, they may do the same thing with this, which may mean that we see something more along the not necessarily along the lines of Harry Potter, but they might try to hearken to that simply because it gives people an anchor.
I'll take Marvel's Harry Potter.
Oh, I mean, I think it's gonna be more extreme than that, but I think that they'll.
That sounds like a license to print money. Marvel's Harry Potter.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's what I want to see. Like I want to see Doctor Strange just walking through some reality. He just like bumps into a kid, and the kid's like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and he's just like his eyes just veer to the lightning-shaped scar. He was like, "No," just like runs away.
You,
like, I'm not fighting Voldemort.
Not even once.
Not even once. But no, and I don't mean to say that like the Doctor Strange movie is going to be like dark. I mean to say that like the possibilities are endless, and Disney's extremely good when it comes to taking like these really cool abstract imaginary concepts and throwing them onto a silver screen. Like I tell people, just go watch Fantasia. Fantasia is such a beautiful movie because of just how it's all put together, how it's assembled, and the visual concepts and stuff like that. Yeah. And so
what's another. Oh, sorry, not to interrupt, but like, what's another movie that Disney?
Don't worry about that.
What's another movie that Disney made that is really off the wall and no one else has dared make it?
The Black Cauldron.
Well, no. Everyone always wants to masturbate over the Black Cauldron. I don't give a shit about that movie, but like this
was my moment.
Wait, are we getting away from Doctor Strange?
No.
Okay.
Tron.
Oh, they did make that, didn't they?
I want Doctor Strange
twice.
to be Marvel's Tron.
Dude, I would be psyched for that.
The first Tron and Tron Legacy, where it's like, wow, this is really cool, and also has a really good story that people can enjoy. Because I'm one of the few people who's like, Tron Legacy rocks. Me and Ethan and 2 other people are like, yay, Tron! I love my dad. Like it's. But yeah, I want it to feel like Tron, where you're like, I've never seen anything like this.
I think it's interesting that I'm gonna move away from Tron. Okay, I'm gonna go back to Doctor Strange.
I was just saying, Tron's cool.
Everyone in the world already moved away from Tron, Tiffany, so it's fine.
Even Disney left Tron.
I'm moving away. I think it's really interesting where the Doctor Strange comic book right now is currently going.
Yes.
It's going a very dark way, and I'm hoping that indicates something that they're planning for the movie, to get Doctor Strange in a certain position, in a certain tone, so that when you come back to the comic book, you're like, oh, okay, that totally matches. Because as much as I like sassy Doctor Strange, I also like when it gets a little bit dark like that.
Yes.
So because it lends it some actual importance and weight. You know what I mean?
Joel, man.
Yeah, I got people running behind me, I know.
I was like, man, what was going on back there?
But pay no attention to the people behind me. Pay no attention.
Like, those are the bitches.
Oh my God! Somebody mentioned bed knobs and broomsticks in the chat.
Yes,
dude.
The thing is
Bed
that
knobs
the
and
new
broomsticks.
Doctor Strange. There's the whole there's the secret tavern of magicians and stuff.
I know.
That is
The
basically
bar with no door.
And you can totally make that into a Marvel world, especially because you have.
That would be awesome to put that in there, and then just have
Wanda's in there.
background.
You know what you need to do? Because Disney already did The Sorcerer's Apprentice with Nicolas Cage. You need that dude to meet Doctor Strange and be like, hey, you drink at this bar too?
Well,
The Sorcerer's Apprentice is a good-looking movie, and so if you
It sure is.
Yeah, it's a good-looking movie.
Also, Jay Baruchel as the main lead. My pick, 20 years ago, the guy I would have had to be Spider-Man. 'Cause
Oh,
he's
yeah, he
just
would have been okay.
now.
Yeah, now he's too old.
He's too old now.
I can't wait to see what they're going to pick and choose from the Doctor Strange mythos, just in general. We know we have some idea, but will we ever see Clea? Is that going to happen? Probably
Sequel.
not. Right? Or are they going to tie the Night Nurse into this, even though she's technically in the Daredevil universe? But is that a way to bring these two universes together? In the, you know what I mean?
I hope so.
Daredevil already showed us magic exists by having undead ninjas.
Yeah.
That's actually the best franchise to cross over with Doctor Strange, I think, because it's the only movie to acknowledge magic is real.
Yeah.
So you want to have a Doctor Strange and the Hand crossover? I'd watch the hell out of that. That'd be amazing.
There is dark sorcery at work here.
Yeah. Cumberbatch has worked with serialized TV programming like
Sherlock,
the BBC. He could totally go into Netflix. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. Well, here was the other thing too, that because I was sitting here thinking about this, there's a lot you could do with Doctor Strange. Like imagine a post-credit scene in the Doctor Strange movie, and he go imagine they have that little bar thing. They set up a bar scene or something like that. Yeah, he does. He does it. Imagine they have imagine they have the bar scene or whatever it is. And they set it up earlier in the movie where he goes to that little hidden bar or something like that. And there's three people that he's conversed with. Maybe Brother Voodoo's there. Maybe a couple other people or Dr. Voodoo. Or whatever.
Brother Voodoo would be a cool character to introduce in that movie.
Yeah, because he ain't getting his own movie anytime
soon. He ain't
soon.
getting his own movie. I would never go see a Brother Voodoo movie.
I would not either.
But nonetheless, he's got his own guys that he hangs out with and talks to. But in any event, there's a post-credit scene, and they sit down and they say things are worse than we expected. It's how far along is she? And it's just she's getting to the point where she's uncontrollable. And then somebody was like, we need to do something about the Scarlet Witch. And it cuts to black. That, to me, would be a great way to tie it over, because we know the Scarlet Witch loses her shit and warps reality. So I think that, taking those things and bringing them in. But something else that I also want to see, and I've wanted to see it ever since they announced the movie, and during Hickman's run on Avengers and New Avengers, I want to see the Sinner's Market. That was such a cool concept. And I'd love to see that make an appearance in the movie. But
I'm certain it will be there.
Yeah,
I'm sure there will either be a reference or they go to it, but I guarantee you, any new Doctor Strange stuff will be in there.
It's interesting that you bring that up, because I know Marvel's always found it difficult to deal with magic, but when you deal with an element like that, where it's what will you give to get something?
Yeah.
That's what they're doing now with Doctor Strange. So it's I could totally see that happening.
Basically, alchemy. To get something, you gotta give something up.
I also really want to see Spider-Man show up.
You want to see Spider-Man and Doctor Strange?
I love the Spider-Man and Doctor Strange
Dynamic.
relationship.
They do have a little bit of a relationship.
They do have a fun back and forth.
They live in a similar neighborhood, so it's
true.
Well, it's fun to see them work together, especially because Spider-Man's this is really scary. All of this stuff you're doing is really scary. I don't know what to do here.
This is all way above my pay grade, dude.
Well, hey, what was your... Okay, I'm curious about this, Tiffany. What was your stance on the whole Doctor Strange and Iron Man, goatee bros thing they had going on? Where they were
goatee bros.
Awesome facial hair bros.
Yeah, awesome, yeah.
What is it? Tony Stark is we're awesome facial hair bros, and he kind of tries to go for high fives, and then later on, Doctor Strange winds up saving Iron Man, and Iron Man's you saved me. He's of course I did, because we're awesome facial hair bros.
When you put it like that, I totally love it.
Yeah.
That was a good bit.
It was a hilarious little bit.
It's so hard to not hear Byron Orpheus every time I'm reading Doctor Strange. I really try not to, but I'm just man, that Venture Brothers character is so great in his own right.
It depends. The current run of Strange, I don't hear it anymore, and I think it's because he's
younger.
Different. He's younger. He's got a different costume, but any other version, that's
it's probably why I kind of had to leave leave Doctor Strange for a bit because I'm like, I just keep hearing Byron Orpheus, and I just want to go watch more Venture Brothers every time.
Can I diverge for just a second to give, since what they're doing with Doctor Strange right now proves they'll never do my pitch, so I can give a pitch for Doctor Strange book. I had a pitch for a Doctor Strange book, and my pitch was simply, remember in House of M when Doctor Strange gets what he wants and he becomes a psychiatrist?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We only see literally one panel of him being a psychiatrist before he becomes Doctor Strange again.
Yeah.
And the implication, and then of course at the end of House of M, he uses his magic combined with Emma Frost's psychic abilities, plus Layla Miller's ability to change slowly moving plot lines. And the three of them wind up rebooting reality back to where it was. But like my pitch was, Doctor Strange opens the way it's always opened, where he's like, "Oh, Wong, do not disturb me. I'm in my meditation chamber," and he's just meditating or whatever. And then Wong gets a visit from a teenage girl, and the teenage girl is like, "This is my house. I live here." Oh. And the idea is that in the House of M universe, Doctor Strange had a daughter, and
a Triana,
his own Triana, and that like Doctor Strange preserved his House of M universe daughter because he loved her too much. Aww. And used his magic to keep her, but was subconsciously unaware that he did it. So when reality got rebooted, she stayed behind. So she came with them. Yeah. So she's this displaced, out of reality daughter of his, and it's literally being like, "I don't really have any obligation to you. You're not really my daughter, but I guess I do have a responsibility to take care of you." And so you like pull Doctor Strange into like the real world where he's like, "I have to go fight Dormammu in the nth dimension," and she's like, "Yeah, but like I am going to be in a play, and I got
parent teacher night I gotta go to."
Seeing him go to like parent teacher night and having him like go to bake sales and be hit on by moms and like that kind of universe where Doctor Strange like has to be a dad. I thought that would be really cool. I was like, that's my pitch. Just Doctor Strange single dad.
Scene I want to see Doctor Strange at the bake sale. Your crop top does not work on me.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, I would.
Think you're going wearing that?
Dude, I would so watch that.
Not in my house, young
By the
lady.
Book of Ashanti, I will not have you dating a man like that.
By the Mist of Ashanti. What do you think this is?
Yeah.
And then like Leah showing
what is
up.
this teen music you're listening to?
Or it wouldn't even have to be like some big like dramatic moment. Like she comes walking in and like she has her lip pierced and he looks up and he's just like, "By the hoary hosts of Hogan." Like,
you gotta reserve that moment for when she walks in with a guy.
Oh yeah, with a guy. Yeah.
You know what's gonna happen?
I'm gonna show you another dimension for a second.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then it turns out she has magic abilities and blah, blah, blah. Like, you can spin that into anything, but clearly they're not doing that, so...
It really does write itself, this pitch.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But anyway, Doctor Strange, the movie looks really good. The costume's awesome.
Oh, yeah, it looks incredible. I'm so excited.
The city, I wish we were in there, because I know that comic book store. I'm like, no.
Yeah, me too.
Except we never be there at the same time. There's no reason.
I would have made it happen.
There's no reason for us to be in a comic book store on a weekday when we didn't know they were filming Doctor Strange. But we were the closest to be there, so what was it? Man,
you were this close to meeting British Bandersnatch, this close.
It would have been pretty cool.
British Bandersnatch.
I got a million of them.
I'm like, bust the voice, man. I want to hear what your voice, what your Doctor Strange voice is. Like, is he going to be American or is he going to be British? I don't know.
Good question.
I think it's going to be a little bit of both. I think it's going to be like proper.
Yeah, he'll be erudite American.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
He's not going to be Sherlock.
I wouldn't be surprised if it came off sounding like Smog.
Right?
With like
that's a good one.
With like a without the British accent. Dude, you got people just roaming around your house, Joel.
I got people roaming around.
Just roaming around his house.
The thing is, I'm getting robbed right now. Is the thing they're just carrying out TVs and junk. But the fact is, I'm just like, nah, man, I got a show to do. This comes
first. The show's over. You take my laptop.
I hope that he holds on to the Smaug voice until he needs it. Like, he's casting some heavy spells. That's when it comes out. Then he drops
the voice.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really hoping for like just some epic stuff because I think it will be too, where he's just like by the Mist of Ashanti, starts screaming and stuff.
Just to really lay into it
and everything. Yeah, just laying into it and just like some hardcore Harry Potter stuff. Like, this is what the battle between Harry and Voldemort should have been like.
Yeah, and there's like just certain things he needs to say. He has to say, "I have Agamotto," He's got to say the hoary host of Hoggoth.
Yep.
I really want to hear him say the Crimson Bands of Cyttorak.
I wonder if they have I wonder if they're allowed to use Cyttorak, given the
X-Men.
crystal of Cyttorak being the Juggernaut.
Well, then I would also accept the Mists of Munipur.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be fine.
Cool. I think that they get the Cyttorak crystal.
But you gotta save some for the sequel, though. You know, you gotta save it for when he starts training Scarlet Witch, because every Marvel sequel is a team-up piece. Scarlet Witch has gotta go hang out with Doctor Strange, and they become cool magic bros.
That's fine.
That's such a great idea.
That is, I'd watch that.
Every sequel every third Marvel movie being like a team-up movie.
Yeah.
Like, I am so on board for that.
Getting that way.
Like that, I'm so on board for that pitch, because like after Thor: The Dark World, okay, it was cool, it's fine, it was whatever, but I'm not standing in line to wait to see Thor 3 until you told me that it's Thor and Hulk going across the multiple worlds on the Bifrost, like fighting bad guys. Now I'm in. Yeah. Now you sold me a ticket.
You see, I also got a pitch for Ant-Man's Wakandan vacation. I think we could really make something out of this. He just takes his whole family to Wakanda, and Louise is there in the van. He drove the van there to Wakanda.
I would be okay with Ant-Man showing up in the Black Panther movie.
I would be too.
I'd be okay with Ant-Man. I'd be okay with Ant-Man literally being in every Marvel movie, and that's every PS is just where Ant-Man was in the Marvel movie
the whole time.
Oh, he was here.
Oh, he was here too. Yeah, like, yeah. Even if it's to the background, like Black Panther movie. Black Panther needs to go to New York for some reason. He's kicking the crap out of bad guys, and in the background, one of the henchmen just goes, "Hoorah!" And then like they show the scene. They zoom in on him getting hit, and then they zoom in even more, and Ant-Man just punches him in the face.
Scott Lang likes to help everybody. He's a helpful person.
Dude, I would. That would just be so great. It would just be perfect. Just to see those little moments, like those little cohesive moments. it'd be amazing. So what's oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say Marvel as a whole does a really good job of teaming up the right personalities.
Yeah,
like
really
just in general, like. The fact that Downey Jr. plays so well off of anyone who's a straight guy is perfect.
Yes.
Like, just because of that, I want to see him against Doctor Strange. Like, I want to see,
that would be fun.
Tony Stark in the Sanctum Sanctorum. Like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, being like
just touching everything.
No, don't touch that.
Stop touching things. I don't come to your office and touch your things.
That would be where they'd bust the hoary host of Hoggoth. You'd be like, by the hoary host of Hoggoth, don't touch those books.
He's just like,
those. Yeah.
Oh, you know what it would be? Oh God, Tiffany and Joel, single greatest moment at WonderCon. We are in Disneyland,
of course,
and we get to have our pictures taken with Thor, and so like Sal knows where I'm going with this. So we get to have our pictures taken with Thor. And so everybody's like going up, and then finally they're like, well, let's just get like one big picture. And so Benny's standing back there by me, and then he goes to get up on the pedestal where like Thor's seat is, and this chick's like, no!
Yeah. We're in the Asgardian throne room. Odin's seat is there. Thor's on it, and then he goes like, "Welcome to Asgard. I see we have some new members of Midgard to meet. I am Thor Odinson, Mjolnir." Nice. And then he like razzles the handler, like the shield handler. He's like, "Try to lift Mjolnir." I know, I can't lift it, Thor. Well, no, come on, give it a try. I bet you can lift it this time. I'm not gonna be able to lift it, Thor. No, give it a. Come on, the people are waiting for you. She puts her hand out. I know I can't lift it. Well, let me give you a helping hand. And then they both lift it. She's like, okay, thanks. And then, and then he's like, I'm gonna take a selfie on the throne of Asgard. And he takes one step, and that girl who was like really annoying to Thor goes, God no! Like she screams. Everyone's like, what happened? And Benny is frightened right off of the
classic. Benny is classic.
I've never seen Benny unnerved like that before. It was hilarious to me. Like
such an inappropriate reaction.
It was a wildly inappropriate reaction. Like
it was just don't stand on the throne of Asgard, please. No, you're not our laws. Like all she has to do is make a freaking joke about it. But it was like the throne is made of paper mache. Yeah. But like this 220-pound dude just stood on it, so he's fine. Like I don't understand.
You know what it is? It's because Anthony Hopkins was coming later that day to sit in the chair, and he didn't want anyone else sitting in it.
Only one person may sit on my throne at once. Like
this is how Benny died, guys. Like he was beat to death by Thor for stepping on the thing.
By the bristling beard of me. Yeah. Also, by the way, Benny tried to get like a vine where Thor like told him who weighed in on the Batman versus Superman fight, and the first take is better than the one he actually used. So if you go and look, You'll see the worst one, but the better one is where he goes, "So Thor, who do you think will win between Batman versus Superman?" He goes, "I have no idea who those people are."
Yeah.
That is a good one.
It was amazing. He's like, "I think those are comic book characters, aren't they?" And I'm like, "That's old."
Thor cares not for your mortal shows, movies, whatever.
Like, "Oh, you mean that movie that's coming out? I don't have any interest.
I'm not allowed to by contract.
I am contractually not obligated to preclude."
Man, those Disney actors, man, they give 110%. They can't break character. They are legally binded to not break character.
Dude, that is a resume maker.
I was really
right there.
excited to meet Gaston, because I don't know if you've ever YouTubed Gaston from the Disney parks, but apparently the famous Gaston who like razzles like bros and like can legitimately do like push-ups one-handed and
nice.
Like he is at Disney World, which is in Florida, so we'll have to go there and meet him, because I was like, "Where's Gaston?" She's like, "It's not that Gaston." I'm like, "Oh, damn it."
Well, that's what happens when you eat 12 dozen eggs every day to help you get large. That's what happens.
Yeah.
And
This is
you
the
did all
time.
of that when you were a lad.
I can imagine that would be the time when Benny was walking up the throne, and then the girl like grabs Mjolnir and fucking beats him.
And that's how Benny died.
That's how Benny died. Just cracked him over the back of the head.
Thor, stop him!
God, no, that's what would be on his epitaph.
Yeah, God, no. She really screamed the hell out of him. It was unbelievable.
Oh, dude, it was so funny to me because Benny was just like, "What?"
Like, he's like, "What? What's the matter?" And then, by the way, she goes, "God, no!" He turns around and she goes, "Don't step."
Yeah.
Like, she didn't just freak out.
Yeah.
She must have been
That's
like on her
amazing.
third strike. She must have screwed up real bad.
Yeah, really. It's like, look, people aren't supposed. Look, the next one is your ass, lady.
Yeah.
But anyway, so what are our topics continuing on with our?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna peace out, yo.
All right. Thanks for being here.
Oh, you're not going to stay for the rest of the episode?
What are you gonna
We've
talk
enjoyed your company so much, unless you really have something to do.
Don't.
Well, then hang
No.
out.
Be careful.
Yeah,
What's
keep
the
hanging
next?
out.
What's the next item?
Keeping up with the movie themes and everything, Suicide Squad apparently very publicly went back for some reshoots. Now, obviously, reshoots are a part of any Hollywood movie and is nothing to get, in a bunch over. But supposedly the reason they went back for reshoots is they wanted the finished product movie to reflect the trailer people liked more. Apparently the trailer we saw, the one with the Great Queen song, apparently that was not indicative of the actual movie.
I'm shocked.
Wow.
The funny thing is, by the way, like, no, Suicide Squad's supposed to be dark. This is the one that's supposed to be dark.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
It's okay if this one's bleak. I want this one to be bleak. Everyone in it is a monster. Literally, they're monsters in this movie.
Yeah.
Hardened criminals.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
okay. But yeah, who knows? As long as the reshoots don't look like the ones from Fan 4 Stick.
Oh god.
Where,
Or even Batman v Superman.
Right, where you're like, whoa, this is a different lighting entirely for the same scene. What have you done?
Hey,
Well-
you know what though? Like, if they're willing to do that because they're afraid, maybe it's for the best. Maybe
Yeah.
they took a look. They're
Possibly.
like, maybe we should add a couple of things to make
Maybe
it
like one or two jokes.
Yeah, no, see that's kind of what I'm hoping about. Like, I'm hoping they didn't do it because they panicked in response to Superman versus Batman, or Batman versus Superman and Deadpool, where they were just like, we need to have jokes and stuff because Deadpool had funny jokes, and people said Batman versus Superman was too dark. No, Batman and Superman was just a badly written movie. Like that's all. Like, and I'm hoping they don't do that. The problem is this, and I can see this being an issue. If they're reshoots, they won't fit organically into the movie. You know, it'll look like it was just. It'll literally just look like it was just like a patch on top of a shirt.
Yeah.
that had a
Yeah,
hole in it.
don't get Patton Oswalt in to punch stuff up and just have funny stuff happening in the background of this ultra serious
Well,
movie.
I guess
Yeah.
it depends. I mean, it could have been script pages that were removed. It could have been entire scenes that had already been in there, and then they took them out.
Yeah.
And they could be scenes that don't depend on natural lighting. Because if they don't depend on natural lighting, it's a lot easier to fit them in because they'll just go back and be like, all right, what did we use for this scene? Set it back up. Let's go again. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So I guess
It
it's going to
could be anything.
It could be. It really could be.
Yeah.
Could be. Did you people hear the funny thing? I read this a lot in the comment section of our Batman v Superman video, where everyone's like, so a universe where Batman is a murderer but the Joker is still alive. Man, he's bad at his job.
Yeah.
He couldn't even be a good killer Batman.
No. Well, it's just he's not a murderer. He just doesn't care.
Mm.
He just ain't got time for that.
It's
just ain't got time for that.
manslaughter, not first-degree murder. If this actually went to court, he could plead all these charges down.
Plus, he's like
yeah,
a billionaire. He's fine.
Yeah, like I mean, you know how it works. You can't spell manslaughter without laughter.
Look, man. In America, if you're rich enough and white enough, the laws don't apply to you.
True that.
That's right.
But yeah, I'm not worried about Suicide Squad. I think I was excited about it before. I'm excited about it now.
I am
still
also
think it's
excited.
Cool.
I think it'll be strong.
I'm so jazzed they put Katana in it.
Yeah, she's gonna die.
Yeah, it seems that way. Have you been reading the Deadshot Suicide Squad Most Wanted thing, where they put a Deadshot comic and a Katana comic together?
I
and
saw that, and I haven't had a chance to pick it up, but I was excited because I liked her. She had a very.
It's not great. The Deadshot story is stronger, even though the Deadshot story is nothing but retcons to get him back to his pre-52 origin, because that's what they're going to be doing in the movie.
Ooh.
I'm still excited about her being in the movie.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And she looks like literally ripped right out of the comic.
That's
She looks
awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm pretty excited with what, because I'm still very excited for Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
If you do want to read more Katana, you can just read the new Suicide Squad book happening after Rebirth, because she's just going to be on that team now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Good. Well, yeah, I
surprise.
think the Rebirth team is just the movie team.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll have a reason that they never added, that I hope they have in the movie, to where it's like, but Katana, aren't you a hero though? Why are you on the Suicide Squad, this team for criminals, doing basically parole work?
I mean, I can see where like DC went to, whoever the creative team is right now for Suicide Squad, and was like, they're like, so what do you like? What stories do you want us to do? It's like, I don't know, just make it like it's the movie. And
Yep.
then
I
that's
could
it.
totally.
And then they just went from there.
Yeah. I don't know. Just make it like the movie. Who cares?
make it like
Whatever.
the
It's not even the creative team they have now. Tim Seeley is doing a holdover story right now, which is pretty good. And then when he's done, boom, Rebirth movie team.
Really?
Yeah.
He's just doing a holdover
Yep.
story.
He's just
So
doing a
he's literally
holdover
just
arc.
killing time until DC Rebirth happens.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
That being said, it's a good time-killing story, because Tim Seeley totally gets the weird, dark comedy of the Suicide Squad really well, and he brought in those villains, the Fist of Cain from Grayson, because he loves his original villain. So there you go.
See, to me, that's...
And he's paid more honor to the Wildstorm universe than anyone has, because he's also back-ended the Wildstorm characters.
Right. He's the only one.
Yeah.
He's the only one who cares.
About those.
Only one who cares anymore.
See, to me, man, like those stories where they just kind of pitch it, they're just like, whatever, just write something, we'll see what happens. Like, sometimes those stories are really bad, but when they're good, they're amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, wow. But
Agreed.
so anyway, so on to our final topic before we wrap up this episode of the podcast. And the one thing that I'm really the most excited for out of all the
Strange?
news.
We just talked
Oh my
about that.
God. We just talked about
Let's
Doctor
talk about it
Strange,
again.
Tiffany. Let's talk about it again. Is the second half of our conversation about Doctor Strange.
Awesome.
Even better than the
Isn't he
first.
dreamy?
He's-
Come on, guy.
Oh, okay. Now I'm gonna tell you right now. Like, if Benedict Cumberbatch was like, "Hello, Rob. I've been watching your YouTube channel, and I would like to know if you'd like to go on a date with me while I'm dressed as Doctor Strange." I would be like, "Absolutely! Like, yes, let's go right now."
Dude, I would beat the hell out of you if you did that.
I'd be like, yes, but only if you give me spoilers for season 4 of Sherlock.
But no, our final topic, the one that I'm extremely excited about, is the Killing Joke, and
Yeah.
I am so hyped about this because of they're finally making it. And that's what makes me so happy about this. Is
Their
such a great
third
story.
try, apparently, from what we understand. Bruce Timm's like, we broached this 3 times before and we could never do it, but now we did it.
That sounds about right.
Now would be the only time to do it too, because if you go back and you watch any of Bruce Timm's interviews, where he's talking about his meetings with the president of Warner Brothers and all those guys, and that whole animation branch and everything, they're like, yes, make it dark, but don't like make it kid friendly dark, and so kid friendly dark is like Batman shadowy. And that's it. And it doesn't really get any darker than that.
I don't know. Over the Edge was pretty dark. They were able to do some
and of course Return of the Joker for Batman Beyond movie.
Oh yes, that was as dark as it got for a bit.
But to me that wasn't that dark. That wasn't that dark of a story to me. I mean, it was weird seeing like Tim Drake, turn around and like basically like metamorph into the Joker.
They do more in the unrated cut. They actually get to like kind of shoot someone in the unrated cut, and Batman decapitates some.
I never saw the
cool.
unrated cut.
There's a little more blood, and Joker dies like a little differently from the other stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, that's probably why I didn't see why. Yeah, that's why you guys have a different view, because I saw the one that they released for TV for like the,
I liked
the
the one for
official
TV
version.
too. I thought that was dark enough. I was like,
they're both fine cuts.
It was good, but and see, this is the kicker, because we were talking about this a little bit before the podcast started. Is with the Killing Joke, you're talking about a story where the Joker busts into the home, like violates the home of Barbara Gordon and Jim Gordon, shoots Barbara Gordon. There's veiled allusions to sexual assault, and she's tortured. Like, this is about as dark as DC's going to get in general. Even taking into account their live action movies, this is going to be really, really dark.
Yeah, you'll notice there were no Killing Joke moments in BVS.
Yeah, there were there was nothing like that.
What I like about this is they've said what they wanted to do for the movie is actually expand upon the story and create a special prologue focusing on Barbara Gordon, Batgirl, who's once again voiced by Tara Strong. And that makes sense, because you figure if you're picking this up for the first time and you don't know anything about Barbara Gordon and her importance to the Bat family and Gotham, now would be the time to tell you, so that gut punch is that much harsher when we all know what happens.
I don't know.
I don't know if that's why they're doing it. I think they're doing it to mitigate backlash before it happens.
Yeah, they're saying, like, look at what a strong female character she is. She's not
Can't we do both? Can't we do both?
Well, yeah, because I guarantee that if they didn't do that, here's what would happen. People would freak out and they would say, "This is just another example." All they're going to do is they're going to point to God, what was his name? Kyle Rayner's girlfriend being found in a refrigerator.
Put in the fridge.
And they're going to say, "This is another one of those examples."
Don't diss the fridge. It was writing that got Gail Simone noticed and wrote a bunch of comics I really like off of that.
I'm not saying it was bad writing. I'm just saying that and there's regardless of whether it's legitimate or not, people will make arguments that there has been a pattern of belittling or victimizing women in comics, and people will use that as a platform to make an argument.
You can point to many examples, which is even more hilarious because they've kind of retconned the Killing Joke out now in the new film. I didn't read that issue, but it looked like they're like, yeah, it's retconned if you want it.
Yeah. I did. I read it. And I was like,
I'd rather believe.
Which is hilarious for that issue because in that very same run, the two writers made visual reference to the Killing Joke previously. And like Batgirl had a total thing where she ran into one of Joker's goons from that night and had a really great story dealing with that guy and how that guy felt really terrible about the part he played in it.
I did not know that.
The great thing about this Killing Joke movie is it's literally all hands on deck. Like, they're bringing back Kevin Conroy, they're bringing back Mark Hamill. Like,
not just bringing him back. That was the thing he said he'd come back for. He's like, I'm done, unless
you do the Killing Joke.
Unless you do the Killing Joke.
Yeah.
But it's literally all hands on deck, so I'm stoked.
Yeah, I'm sad that the original Jim Gordon from the animated series is no longer with us, because he is Jim Gordon for me.
He is.
I'm also sad they didn't get the original Barbara Gordon to play Barbara Gordon. She's really great. Like, Tara Strong, whatever. I mean,
she's only like the greatest living voice actress, whatever. But we wanted the one we wanted.
She's never played Barbara Gordon before, and there's no reason to just get someone because she's a name.
No, it wasn't she Barbara Gordon in like the New Adventures of Batman? Didn't they eventually get her on? I know
they brought her in the animated DVD runs. Like, she played Barbara Gordon in like Mystery of the Batwoman, which might be one of the worst ones they've ever made.
It is.
And if you're wondering what it is, it stars Kelly Ripa, so don't worry about it.
And that one had Bane in it as the mystery villain, and I love Bane, and I didn't like that movie.
They also got Penguin in it, and it's not played by the animated series Penguin voice, which is like, what do you do if you're gonna make Penguin your main antagonist? At least get the real one.
That and Brainiac attacks are like, ugh.
Yeah, F Brainiac attacks.
Sorry, someone in the chat just said Tara Strong's good, but she's no Jennifer Hale, and that is correct.
Jennifer Hale would have been great.
I agree.
Because she would have. I like Tara Strong a lot, but to me, she always comes off as a more of a youthful voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Barbara Gordon's supposed to be like young.
She is,
and
but she's not like a teenager. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you needed like a woman's voice behind this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Oh, I just remember too. Tara Strong played Barbara Gordon in that very short-lived and for good reason, Beware the Batman. So she actually doubled up on Barbara Gordon.
Oh yeah. Beware the Batman. No, that's
remember
not even...
Beware the Batman. No one remembers Beware
the CG show they put on at 3:00 in the morning for 7 episodes. No, I don't remember that show.
I gotta tell you, I'm so excited for Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Dude, Mark Hamill is like, Mark Hamill's like number one on my list. Like the Joker, Batman Mask of the Phantasm. I remember being a little kid and sitting down, and I was like, yeah, man, this movie's kind of good. Like, I really wish the Joker was in it. Joker shows
And then he
up.
showed up.
And I was like, awesome! because to me, and this is why I even said that in my video on Batman Beyond, like, I'll always believe that in Batman the Animated Series, the Joker was more popular than Batman. Like, I'll always, because to me, he was better than Batman. Like Batman episodes were cool, but when the Joker was in it, then it was an amazing episode.
That was what was so that was so brilliant about the guys who made that show, is they were like, let's not overdo the Joker. If we do the Joker, let's do him sparingly, and not only that, but like, hey, if we're gonna use the Joker sparingly, let's make the other villains really cool. Mr. Freeze, like Two-Face. Penguin was cool enough. He's Penguin, but like Poison Ivy was
good
really cool.
Stories.
Catwoman is great. Like, there are so many, like, all the villains are really, really good. There are villains they like made up, like the invisible guy who wants to be with his daughter who's a divorced. Like, that's an amazing episode.
Yeah.
There are a couple of ones. See No Evil. There's a couple of ones where like they're mobsters. Like, that's a good one. Like, those are several good ones. Like, and then when the Joker showed up.
My personal favorite was always Bullet for Bullock. I won't spoil who the villain is in that one, but that's probably one of the greatest twists I ever saw in a cartoon growing up.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, Tom, what were you saying?
Oh, I don't know. The Joker's amazing, but they didn't.
The animated series is great.
They didn't push it too much. The reason why we all love the Joker, and the reason why when the Joker shows up in Batman: Mask of the Phantasm, you do not see that coming. And then he shows up, and you're like, this is 1,000 times better. I was having a good time before, but now I'm having a really good.
Now in this sneak peek that we're all referring to as well, they spent a lot of time talking about how they really wanted to capture the Brian Bolin art style and how difficult that was because it's so super literal and everything. I think they did a good job, kind of splitting the difference on it and having something that's animated but something that's evocative of the comic.
I'm glad they didn't go full like adaptation with it like they have with like Public Enemies and Batman Superman Apocalypse, where you're like, don't try to just animate Michael Turner's drawings, please. It doesn't work. It was cool looking, but like it was a little too odd. Like, just do your own thing. Like, do your own animation. Just make it good. Just know what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, and that to me, I think is really one of the big kickers. Is I think that in a lot of ways when they sit down and they look at these adaptations, the idea is, how can we make this as true to the original source material, but also like update it? That's one of the reasons why I love The Dark Knight Returns Parts 1 and 2 so much, is because it was a great adaptation of the original comic. There were some changes, but it was a great adaptation overall. And in the end, it was still a story that you looked at and said, it has its roots in this classic story, but this is a story for me. For my generation, for those of us,
but for our generation, starring President Reagan.
For starring President Reagan, no, but for not necessarily, I don't mean our generation in terms of like our age growing up reading it, but like for this generation of comic book fans who were finally seeing a lot of the comic book material put into multimedia form, like for those of us who love that element, I think it really struck a chord with us, and it struck a chord with me, and I loved it. But for me, I hope The Killing Joke will be the same way, because I think The Killing Joke is a story that just it deserves its time in the sun. It deserves its time to finally have some light shed on it, because it's one of those where everybody knows it. Everybody knows The Killing Joke. Everybody's heard of The Killing Joke, even if they haven't read it. It was like our big discussion on timeless stories. You walk up to anybody and you say, "You ever heard of The Killing Joke?" They're like, "Yeah, I've heard of that story." They may not have read it, but they've heard of it.
Or even if they've never heard the title, they know the image of the Joker with the camera.
Yes,
of course.
Some
they say too,
familiar with it. Yeah.
And they say too in the sneak peek, it's like this was the book that inspired what is it? Not Jack Nicholson, but like in '89, this was the one they show where it's like, ooh, let's make the Joker scary like this. This was the book that started mass media's kind of like obsession with the Joker as a character.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember like growing up in the '80s and '90s reading comics and seeing that image of the Joker, and it was so it looks like the Joker from every comic book you've ever seen if you read comics like for 30 years, but like I remember as a child being like, that is not for me. And I didn't because there's no Batman on the cover. It's just Joker. Yeah. And I remember being like I remember him brandishing a camera. And that's it, he has a camera. And I remember thinking that was actually kind of scarier than him having a gun.
Yeah.
Because of the implication behind it. It was like, what is the Joker doing with it? And why? And by the way, like I remember picking it up and being like thin as hell and being like, how could this tiny thing be so visceral and reactionary. How can my comic book retailer be like, you can't read that?
Yeah.
If it's so short and it's literally just like every other Joker I've ever seen. Like the Joker from Killing Joke looks basically like the Joker from A Death in the Family, or or Nightfall, and it's like, but it's also drawn better and it looks amazing, and it's also effed up and crazy.
Yeah, I like that you choose A Death in the Family, in which he
murders a small child and
by beating him to death,
and his mother,
and also becomes the Iranian prime minister, or like.
But it's also drawn by Jim Aparo, so
yes,
it looks like
it is different, but
silly ass comic
book. The style makes a big difference.
But yeah, so either way, I think that it's I'm pretty hyped about the Killing Joke. I mean, I think we can all admit that it's high time the Killing Joke get its due, and it's good to see that it's actually happening. So.
Overdue.
I like too that it's an adaptation in a time when DC Animation is like, we're not really going to do adaptations anymore. We're just going to pick and choose now.
They sure used to do like straight up adaptation. I was like, I remember when what was they? I don't remember what book they did that I thought like that I first went, oh, like they're going to start doing Killing Joke in year 1 and Dark Knight Returns any minute now, and it took like 5-10 years for them to do it.
Yeah.
But It's interesting. I was trying to think of what I was going to say about that, just straight up adaptations and stuff. It's gonna be cool.
I think a good question is, now that they've done Killing Joke, probably the most requested, most fan demanded, where do you go after that one? Because that kind of seems like Tim came back and Hamill came back just because they really wanted to do that one and put their own stamp.
Oh, I know.
On it.
What's next is Kingdom Come.
Oh, you think that's going to be?
Dude,
that would be awesome.
Okay, how many of you guys in the chat would watch a Kingdom Come animated movie? Like,
right.
I would watch that.
Yeah. Well, while we're waiting for that, so has any news outlet yet reached out to Alan Moore to get his quote?
No, surprisingly.
Yeah. Alan Moore, how do you feel about the Killing Joke being adapted into an animated feature? And he'd probably just get like a few grunts.
Yeah. I don't know what to do it.
We went down to the magic cave that Alan Moore is, and we threw a little paper airplane message to him to see if he'd respond. It's been 3 days and he hasn't written back yet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I'll just call Brian and ask him how much he made, and I'll cry a little bit.
You think that Boland's getting paid, but he's not.
He'll get a check. They all get a check. What was it? I remember what I was going to say now. It was Bruce Timm loves the Killing Joke. He loves Dark Knight Returns. Bruce Timm stopped working on the movies and then came back to do Dark Knight Returns, and I think he's also working on Killing Joke as well.
Yes, he is.
And I'm shocked as crap that Bruce Timm didn't at any point during the Batman animated series, or especially during like Batman Beyond, get Kevin and Mark in a booth and go, do the Killing Joke. We're going to put it on an MP3, and I'm just going to keep it until it's time. You know what I mean? Like, I'm shocked that they didn't just think to do that. Mm-hmm. It's like it would be like when Dan Castellaneta dies and they need to do a Last Simpsons episode, and it's like, you mean you didn't record the Last Simpsons episode like 10 years ago? It's not like it's in continuity. Like, how come you didn't do that? Like, I'm shocked as hell that they didn't do it, because for me, like, as much as The Dark Knight Returns was a cool adaptation, it was cool, and RoboCop's voice grows on me more. Kevin Conroy could have done that too.
Yeah, we've had this conversation. Yeah.
I prefer Kevin Conroy to be Batman from now until the end of time.
Oh yeah, I think we all like Kevin Conroy.
Doesn't.
But Kevin Conroy played old Bruce Wayne in Batman Beyond. He can do that voice, so it's like I wanted him to do that because RoboCop clearly did like one take, and that was it. There are a couple of lines that he does that are perfect, and there's a couple of lines that he does where I'm like, this is the line you needed to get right, RoboCop.
Yeah.
Stop calling it RoboCop. Looks like the chat definitely
wants to see a Kingdom Come movie.
Yeah, look like people definitely want to see a Kingdom Come movie.
I saw an interesting question or comment, which made me think of this question. What non-Justice League or Batman DC property would you like to see them animate? I have an answer.
Dude, I would say
they're not going to do any of those because those don't make money, and if they do make them,
I want to see Jeff Johns' entire run of Green Lantern. I want to see that animated.
Wouldn't that
the whole
be nice?
thing.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
What gets me is that they have to they kind of have to trick you when they do characters who aren't Justice League and aren't Batman. It's like Justice League, Flashpoint Paradox. It's really a Flash.
Yeah, but like in a world where I've got $1 billion and I'm like, paying people to do it. What
Yep.
do you want to see?
Between the two, I guess I would choose either Green Arrow Quiver would be fun to see for.
I was gonna say Green Arrow Year One. Good call.
That'd be. I mean, like
Nice.
because Quiver is like silly and fun, and it's got everybody in it anyway.
Yeah.
And it's kind of fun to see.
Justice League Quiver.
Yeah, Justice League Quiver. They would totally do that. And what was the other one I was gonna think of?
Or while you're thinking
Yeah.
about it, my answer is Constantine.
Oh yeah.
Oh god, that would
anything
be a good
Vertigo
one.
would be like anything Swamp Thing. Like, yeah, let's do some Swamp Thing in animation.
Constantine.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see. Because you could do anything and everything.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. You don't have to worry about special effects. You don't have to worry about budget. You just put
Or
it on
rating.
the paper. Yeah. That's what I want to see.
I would have said Throne of Atlantis, but they've already ruined that movie. So can we have Throne of Atlantis, but good and actually
okay.
like
That's
the
fair.
comic?
The other thing I was thinking of was Robin: A Hero Reborn, the origin story of Tim Drake, where it's just Robin going across like the country and hanging out with Clyde Rollins and Shiva and stuff like that. I was like, that'd be a really that's something they could literally do tomorrow, and people would watch it because you bookend it with Batman, so it would still pay.
Here's another one. I don't know if you guys have seen the Justice League Teen Titans one yet, but they allude at the end of that one to the most famous Teen Titans story of all time, a Teen Titans story that they have threatened to make on several occasions, the Judas Contract. And
no
you know
one
what?
wants that Justice League for Judas Contract. Nobody wants that.
They don't, but I actually kind of liked Justice League versus Teen Titans. So I'm like, okay, it wouldn't be right with this team, but at the same time, if this is what it takes for you to finally make it, okay.
Well,
Yeah.
I thought Judas Contract was best known because that's when Dick Grayson took on the Nightwing outfit.
He did, yeah.
And he's
I
already
thought like
Nightwing
that
in
was
this
that
shared
was
universe.
that was like what made Judas Contract so popular over the years. I'm sure it had like the story was popular at the time, but like as the years progressed, like that was the one whole.
And it's all the stuff with Deathstroke and like his, I hate the Teen Titans so much because of what they did to my son. I'm going to go to ridiculous Machiavellian lengths to ruin them. Even though I'm a super assassin, I could easily just kill every one of them. No, I need to do this thing with Terra. I need to have a sleeper agent inside their organization.
Did they do the Judas Contract in Teen Titans, like the anime cartoon?
They did,
and it was pretty solid. Like
Wasn't
it's
too
not.
bad.
Like, Faust would come across the pond and punch me in the neck to
I'm
like
sure.
say that, but like I think it was pretty okay. Like the dude who played Slade was amazing.
Ron
The dude who played
Perlman.
Robin-
Ron Perlman.
Yeah. It was Ron Perlman. Like the kid who played Robin was great. Like and Tara did a nice job, and it was really emotive, and it was multi-parter. So it was like it was a solid adaptation. I'm shocked they didn't just like make that.
That was literally my favorite cartoon.
Yeah.
For like the longest time.
Until Justice League Unlimited.
Oh god, dude, Justice League Unlimited was so good. Like, see, I was actually talking to Sal one day, and Sal was like, "Dude, you got to check out the episode where Lex Luthor goes to the Source Wall, where Metron takes him to the Source Wall, and he's like only a 12th level
the last
intellect can
episode.
pass this. Yeah,
that's Destroyer.
And Lex Luthor's like, "Well, I can do this." So and he's just totally overwhelmed by what he sees, and then that's it.
Yep.
And I'm just like, God, what an awesome scene.
Did you know the last two episodes of Justice League Unlimited are named after Kiss albums, Alive and Destroyer?
No, I didn't know that.
That's what they're named after.
Wow.
There's a moment in Justice League Unlimited in which Luthor and Brainiac become one, where Brainiac takes over Luthor's body. It's a literal adaptation of an actual Superman story in which that actually happens. I believe it's a pre-crisis story, but it's still like relevant and cool. That is a moment I thought we were going to get in BVS when Luthor was in the goo, and like the computer's like, "Okay, you're my new master now." I'm like, "Oh, it's going to betray him and become Brainiac, and then they're going to merge, and then Luthor Brainiac will have to fight Superman." No, none of that. And instead, much like a really trend of that movie, instead of that really cool thing happening, nothing happens.
The moral of the story.
Yeah, but anyway. Yeah, I want to see that. Somebody in the chat was like, "Why didn't you choose Nightfall?" And I'm like, Tiffany said no Batman story.
Yeah.
I was like, "No, I have 30 Batman stories I want to see."
I said no Batman.
And they'll probably do Nightfall is the thing.
They'll do all of them.
I know.
I'm really hopeful that they don't do Nightfall until after they abandon this terrible shared universe that they're trying.
Here's the thing. You haven't watched Justice League Teen Titans? They're already kind of starting to abandon it.
Good,
really?
because that dude who plays Batman is horrible. We all watched Bad Blood, and we did a comic commentary for it, which I haven't released because I'm not sure I'm a fan of it. But like, everyone agrees. Everyone was like, "What is Batman's problem? Like, why does he sound like he's Australian?" I'm like, "Because he is."
Like the last 4 have been kind of weak, but Justice League Teen Titans I liked a lot more. It has a lot more fun. They actually make it a movie about teens doing teenage things.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I'm down.
They actually have an interesting thing where it's like, hey, Damian, Robin, and Raven, you guys actually have more in common than you think. You both had weird, shitty upbringings.
Yeah.
you guys should talk more, and they do, and it's like, I guess I didn't have it so bad. I guess I didn't have it so bad either.
Right? Yeah. My dad isn't technically the devil, so I guess that works out.
I might call him the devil every so often, but
yeah. But that is really hyperbolic when I meet you, Raven.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, that's cool.
Also, that Starfire is like the leader den mother of the Titans team. Like, she's the one who's mentoring the younger. I'm like, you know what? That's more of a promotion than she's gotten in anything else ever.
Yeah.
Oh, and Damian being a little shit. Damian gets her. It's like it's the worst line, but it's also like, ooh, that good burn though. Whereas like, oh yeah, Starfire, I'll listen to you. You've been in developmental for like what, all your career? Yeah, I should really listen to you. I'm like, oh, you little bastard, but also fair. Also fair. She has been in developmental. She should be on the league, but she's not.
Yeah. Oh, Forever Evil would be a really cool one to do.
I could see that one happening
Forever
sooner.
Evil would be
One that they should probably do next.
The Forever.
Yeah.
I mean, because I thought Forever Evil was a really cool concept to just have bad guys save the world. Like, it's like Suicide Squad to the ultimate degree, you know?
Yeah.
Like to the final fruition of Suicide Squad.
When there's no one else left to save the world, when all the heroes are gone. Guess it's gonna have to be Lex Luthor and his Injustice gang.
Yeah, I guess it'll have to be Lex Luthor and Batman.
Yeah, and Catwoman, because this is the new
Manta.
52.
Oh man,
We're afraid to have anything that's
I get the spear.
Yeah.
Give me the spear. I get it.
Oh, they've already killed Black Manta though in this new 52 shared universe, so they couldn't have Black Manta. They killed him in the worst way possible at the
We
end.
have multiple Black Mantas. That's okay.
God,
It's a
man,
legacy.
Dude, I will say this: at the end of the day, like, freaking DC did it right, man. Like, they didn't sell off the rights to all their shit. Like,
Yeah.
God, man, because they're like, you know what? Like, let's just make movies and like include a character from here and here, and let's just grab him and bring him in. Imagine the Marvel Cinematic Universe if you had the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and the Avengers, and you had all that stuff. And you had Galactus, the Silver Surfer, and
DC literally didn't sell off their properties, and they could have made any movie at the point they wanted to. They almost destroyed their entire company making one Batman movie.
Yep.
Now,
you talking about Batman and Robin?
Yes.
Yeah.
One Batman movie almost destroyed them making Batman movies for like 15 years.
Yeah.
I think that Marvel not having as many of its properties as it should,
it's a good thing.
Forced them to be creative.
It did.
And to work themselves out of problems.
Yeah, I think Tony Stark would thank you for
desperation breeds creativity.
Well, yeah, no, like that's. I mean, like Kevin Feige even said that in an interview. He was doing, people were interviewing him when Iron Man first came out, and they were like, "So did you think it was going to be successful?" He's like, "Honestly, we didn't have a choice. Like, we wanted to make movies. Like, the movie arm was really the only way for Marvel to like basically become solvent again,
recoup their
and
losses.
so they were like, we just like it was a like if we didn't make this, like it was pretty much all over." You know,
it was a Hail Mary play.
Yeah, up until Disney came along and bought him, but they were like, it was all over. And he was like, luckily for us, it paid off. Yeah, no way Disney would have bought it.
Disney would not have made that deal.
Yeah.
And to bring it back to DC, it's like, well, we own all these wonderful toys, but we're only going to play with Batman and maybe the others, but Batman though.
Yeah. Like I feel like DC's like that kid that everybody had as a friend. Like, hey, like, can I play with this character over here? It's like, no. It's like, but you don't play with him, but he's mine.
Yeah, he's mine, exactly. But I have a really good pitch for this toy, though. I don't care about your good pitch. You will love Batman.
But I think that's what makes the Suicide Squad so exciting, because even though you certainly have Harley Quinn who's spinning out of the Batman universe,
and Batman is in the movie,
right? But you know what I mean? It's like they're hanging onto the rope, but they're just slowly.
Yeah, they're slowly leading us in.
Yeah, they're like, okay.
Apron strings.
Like, are we gonna be okay, guys? Can we handle this?
Can we handle a world without Batman for a minute? No,
for like a minute.
Here's a question. I wonder if Warner Brothers, like if Jeff Johns would be willing to basically write a series of movies based on Green Lantern. Because imagine that, if the DC, cinematic universe kind of evolves to the point where it went into phases, and they were like a single phase is going to be just Green Lantern movies. And if it was just like Jeff Johns' Green Lantern, and that's what
what's stopping
the run of his Green Lantern. Like that'd be.
You know what's stopping that from happening? Jeff Johns is too busy writing and shepherding the really awesome CW shared universe, which I never in a million years thought I would say, oh yeah, the Flash and CW. That's where it's at for good interpretations of these characters.
Speaking of which, the Flash comes on in like half an hour. Dude, I am so hyped for this. Dude, I don't know what it is, man, but it's also because of the fact that like the Walking Dead in the last episode, I was like, oh my god, really, AMC? That's what dude, you're missing out if you're not watching The Walking Dead. But nonetheless,
no, because I got tired of the Walking Dead cycle. 4 to 5 episodes of crap filler, then something amazing, then cliffhanger, then over. That's how every season got. The only good season in my mind was season 1 because it was when they were still being the closest to the source material. Now they're just off the reservation.
Yeah.
Oh god.
It's something completely different now.
Hold on, there's no Flash. There's Flash this week.
Yeah, it's the Big Jay Garrick episode tonight, supposedly.
Yeah, I thought it was.
If I'm correct.
Surely they didn't like it was on last week. Surely they didn't bring him back for 1 week.
Just to give us a break.
Just to give us a break for another month.
give us a weird time travel centric episode.
The Flash is taking a break. It took a break
based
for
on these
episode?
comments, Rob, but it's not looking so good.
I don't know.
Wow, are they really? Wow, really? So you came back, gave us a time wraith episode. Now you're taking a break for real? For reals, dog? For real?
Hey,
No
really
way.
quick aside, Rob, did you catch the damage control reference in the last Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
There was a damage control
No,
reference?
I didn't catch the damage control reference.
They said we're gonna take care of this, and then damage control is gonna come in and clean up after us. And I was like,
Oh wow! I didn't even catch that. How did I miss that?
there's a rumor that they're
Really?
gonna make a damage control show. That's gonna
They
be
are.
like,
That was apparently on the
Really?
docket.
What the hell is going on? They brought March 29th. They brought it back. It's coming back on April 19th.
yeah, you gotta wait.
Yeah.
Is that
It's
what they're doing now? They're just like, I mean, man.
Well,
That
you can
kills
just
the
watch
moment.
Arrow.
No.
Man, Arrow sucks.
Thank
No.
you, Rob. High five, Rob, for that one, for agreeing with me. I took so much crap for so long when that show was at its height. It's like, no, Joel, Arrow is really awesome in season 2. And now people who have liked the show have like tapered off. I'm like, yeah, you're right, Joel.
Man,
We
I am
actually
so
literally
disappointed right. I am so disappointed right now. I was so excited to be able to see the Flash come on tonight because I was like, the episode
Rob's
looks
butt
amazing.
is so
Rob's like,
hurt
this
right
And
now.
I've gotta
podcast is
wait.
over.
Yeah,
I've got to
I'm
wait
sorry.
3 weeks. Like, this is just.
I was
I'm
literally-
just absolutely disgusted right now.
Tiff and I
Yes.
were talking earlier. We literally filmed 3 episodes of a show that will never air. When Arrow first came to Netflix, where we were like going to start doing reviews of comic book shows, and we were like, this show sucks.
It's so insulting to your intelligence. I sat
So
myself down as a
terrible.
Patreon goal back
Here's the thing.
when I worked elsewhere.
I have no doubt that inevitably the show picked up. I have no doubt of that.
Yeah, but everybody told us to start watching it. They were like, no, it's great. And we're like, no.
I'm not saying, and again, people who are fans of it, I get
Good for
it
them,
totally.
right.
But I'm not a fan of the CW like formula personally. Like
Yeah,
I just
Flash does it better.
Okay, that's
well,
fair.
Flash can have a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Or not. Or
right.
be in love.
Like
or whatever.
if your story fits in with that method, then it works. You know what I mean? But I wanted to see a superhero show, not a show you were trying to market to people who weren't superhero fans, and then give them a
Exactly.
superhero show.
Well, also, like, you
Exactly.
wanted to make a Batman show, but you only had
Clearly. So much of the Arrow season 1 is just what notes can we crib from Batman Begins.
Yeah.
They steal like
Basically.
whole shots and everything. Flash is better because it stays truer to theme and character. Yes, they change stuff, and yes, they CW-ified, but they hit the proper chords because the characters are likable and the themes are true to the Flash.
Right.
Okay, that's absolutely fair. But like that was for me, like that was my initial like standoffish with that whole set because I was like CW. Oh,
And Legends of Tomorrow, that show could be good at some point, but it's a time travel show and they're not really interested in writing rules for time travel. But Captain Cold is great though.
Yeah,
Whitworth
I'm not-
Miller, man, steals that friggin' show every time he's on.
Yeah,
That dude's
I'm
the breakout.
really not
He's so
feeling
good
that.
they don't know what to do with him.
Every time I think of Captain Cold, I think of Mark Hamill.
Yeah. Well, he played the
Trickster.
Yeah.
That's it. But that
And he
always
plays
makes
the
me think
Trickster
of-
again in Flash. He
Yeah.
comes back and plays the Trickster again.
Yeah.
I just want
great.
Mark Hamill to play as many villains as possible.
Yeah. He even plays the Trickster in Justice League Unlimited.
He does.
Got me again,
Got
Flash.
me again, Flash. Now, are you taking your pills again there, Jesse? Nah.
I don't need him. I feel better without him. That's so sad.
Oh,
It is.
don't end it
It's-
there.
Anyway, So, what do we got? What do we got going on our channels, gentlemen?
Who wants to go first?
I have actually. Let me grab my schedule. So tomorrow is part 2 of the Marvel Power Hierarchy, and then Archangel Explained on Thursday, and then Barry Allen Explained on Friday. And I'm not even going to do Barry Allen now because the Flash is taken off for 2 weeks. So delete. That gets deleted.
Flash doesn't come back, and all my fans suffer because Flash.
All my fans suffer because it's not coming back. So we're going to switch that. We're going to do. We are going to do. Who'd be somebody good? Could be somebody good to do.
If you want to stay with DC, you could do Have you done Aquaman yet?
No, I haven't done Aquaman yet. Who are we going to do?
Popular guy.
We're gonna do. Damn, what's that dude's name? The dude that Slade Wilson, Deathstroke.
Oh, Deathstroke, the Terminator.
That's a fun one.
We'll do Deathstroke Explained. Take that, CW. See what happens? You put my show on hiatus, and everybody suffers. So everybody pays the price.
Right. Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, we just launched a new show called Comic Fights, in which we debate a topic. Very short show. It's like 5-6 minutes maximum, and they're always related to a bigger show that we do. So it's either linking back to an Elseworlds exchange or a back issues. And we'll be launching. We launched that already. That came out on Monday, so you can go to our channel and check it out. We're also the host of the Weekly Pull when it's after this broadcast. So afterwards, we'll re-upload it. So if you're watching this on there, thanks so much for watching and subscribing.
People really seem to love that it has a home now, and they were also super psyched it's on your channel now.
That must be very nice. I was very happy to see that the Weekly Pullers are starting to band together to give us a little bit of support. We really appreciate it. We're also doing a back issues on 0 Hour, which will be coming out on Thursday. We have a Comic Fights that was spun out of that'll come out on Monday, and we're doing a Daredevil Powers video that'll come out tomorrow.
Cool.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happening on Comic Club. And Cave Joel, what we can look at?
If you head on over to my channel, of course, all new reviews for all the week. You can expect Black Panther #1, which is coming out. That's going to be a big one for me. New Deadpool #9. I don't know if people could tell, but I was wearing a tie-dye Deadpool shirt the whole time. I was proud of this one. Hey, new Power Rangers comic. Man, Kyle Higgins has been killing it on that book. If you were a fan of that show growing up like me, he makes it as good in the comic as you remember it in your nostalgic mind. He also does weird stuff where it's like, hey, what do the Rangers do when they go home? They got to go home at some point.
Yeah, we never see that.
You never, in the comic, you do. It gets even better. Bulk and Skull, the two bullies who later became cops and heroes in their own rights, they have a YouTube channel dedicated to Power Rangers and Power Rangers news. And they have a Patreon, which you can give money to and then listen to their podcast about the Power Rangers.
I need to look this up. What's their channel name?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not real, but it's just in the comic they talk about having a YouTube channel.
Really?
No, but they don't say what their channel name is. That sucks, because that's a great opportunity for them to make a Bulk and Skull.
Like I thought they had like a real YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Dude, those two guys.
They do have one.
Oh, do they really? Is it real?
Skull is called. Wait a minute. Is this just like a fan thing? It's called Bulk and Skull.
I think it's probably a fan thing.
It's got 23 subs. That's probably not really. But wait a minute.
Probably a fan.
Power Rangers. Hold on. This is. Oh, okay.
And also
like
too on a. And on Wednesday at 8 o'clock, a new episode of the Comic Multiverse. That's the show I do with Matt, so you can check that out too.
It's just a Power Ranger fan. I will say this: I'm glad somebody is going to sit down and do 0 Hour, because I still don't understand what the hell that story was, like why they did it. Like I know it's still a little weird to me, so I'm going to be really interested to see your all's back issues.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We don't really, we make fun of it a lot.
Awesome. I'm glad to see that. It was literally a story that just counted down from 0 or from 5 or whatever.
It's literally a story that didn't matter and nothing really changed except for everything that didn't make any sense.
Yeah,
I'm sure I've told everyone my Thursday ritual when that show goes up is I get up, make myself a cup of tea, sit down, like, oh, what's selling the Comic Pop guys up?
What are they making fun of today?
Be like, man, that was a great episode. Now I got to kick myself in the ass even harder to get some work done because that was a good episode. Damn, you were my motivation.
And I guess we should also just make one quick comment. Apparently, the rumor is the new Spider-Man movie is going to be called Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah, because they registered the domain. But they've registered lots of domains. Spider-Man Reign is a domain name.
Ugh, you know. Don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it.
I've gotten a couple of requests to do Spider-Man Reign. I'm like, oh, I'll do Spider-Man Reign, but you don't want me to.
You don't want it.
Because I'm going to make fun of the crap out of it.
how on the nose a title is Spider-Man Homecoming, and yet it's kind of perfect at the same time.
Yeah, it might as well be the image of him holding the shield. Or Spider-Man wearing Mickey ears.
You know,
Or
they
like
need to call
Mickey
it...
him.
Yeah,
Like,
Mickey and
hey.
Spider-Man. Yeah, Mickey is Spider-Man holding a Mickey doll.
They need to call it Spider-Man Rights Reversed.
Yeah. Spider-Man sorry.
Spider-Man, my
the
bad.
apology to
Yeah,
her.
Spider-Man took long enough.
Spider-Man,
But,
we
yeah.
apologize, guys.
Spider-Man Rise of the Underoos.
Spider-Man, Sony can't
Spider-Man,
make
Tony
good
Stark's
movies.
in this.
Yeah.
I like that a whole generation of millennials had to discover what Underoos were and had to actually do some research on what that was.
Yeah, that really dated Iron Man.
Yeah.
They're back. You can
They
get
are
them at
back.
the Hot Topic.
Yeah, it's true.
Can you really?
Yeah, I wouldn't know that for any particular reason.
No, I'm sure.
Hey, next time I'm at Hot Topic, which will probably be never because there's only like one in the city and I live in the sticks.
Yeah. Yeah, for guys, they have He-Man or Skeletor,
Yeah.
and I got a C-3PO set.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow. Holy cow. I just got
What?
an email. Apparently Lexington's getting gigabit Ethernet.
Hey.
Woo!
Lucky.
We're catching up with the 21st century, guys.
So this
slowly
is
but
the end of the
surely.
podcast, though, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
I think we can end it. Thanks for listening, everybody. Na 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 na.
Na. Hey,
Hey,
hey, hey.
hey. That's the show.
Peace.